Hey, it's Tori Magoo and John Dries. We're here. It is the 15th of October, 2012, and we are going to be talking about keeping Scientology working, the shocking truth. Okay, so we both have been in Scientology for many years and got out. I escaped out, as you know. John got out before me, actually, and he was a cramming officer, someone who corrected technical things while he was in the church. I was an auditor and PR, and we both have a lot of experience in it. So we're going over keeping Scientology working, because it is kind of the shocking truth of keeping Scientology working, in my view, and I want you to think of what's the most shocking truth for you. But for me,
I just remembered a shocking truth while you were talking, but we'll save that for later.
Okay, but the key shocking truth is that it really is the beginning of mind control, and you certainly don't know that when it happens, but it is the beginning of it. And I'm just going to show you. We're actually taking it. They have these technical volumes with all their policies are in them, written by L. Ron Hubbard. And here's keeping Scientology working. Does it show it? No. Did I get it? Is it in there?
I don't know. Let's see.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, well.
No? All right, there. Anyway, you see it? Keeping Scientology working. There.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a policy written by L. Ron Hubbard, 6 pages long. And before every single course, this is why I say it's mind control. Before every single course, you have to learn and get checked out on this policy.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a key and fundamental, one of the key and fundamental issues in Scientology. It's a policy letter, and it's also a bulletin, and it's one of the things that governs what Scientologists do and how they act, and it also tells Scientologists what the proper attitude is that they should have toward the technology. Okay, very much so. It is the key issue as far as that is concerned. And like Tori says, it's a part of mind control. It happens sort of toward the beginning in Scientology, because this policy letter or bulletin, keeping Scientology working, is all over the place. I was going to say ubiquitous. So that means all over the place, and everywhere in Scientology. That's a bit of an exaggeration, but it is the first thing that you read on any course.
Certainly in the Church of Scientology. I don't know about anybody using it outside, whether they still use it at all or not. I doubt it.
I hope they don't. But,
I don't think they do.
Yeah, and I would like to think that they don't. But yeah, it's a key issue. So, as is so typical and runs through all of Scientology, see, the central kernel of an idea that you're supposed to accept, see, is indirectly presented here in this. This is about keeping Scientology working. Well, if you're keeping Scientology working, you have to assume that Scientology works.
Good
and
point.
that's the fundamental assertion of L. Ron Hubbard and Scientology, is that Scientology really is a completely workable technology that achieves wonders in terms of perception, ability, and benevolence. Here's the first two sentences of this policy that are keeping Scientology working. L. Ron Hubbard says, quote, "We have sometime since passed the point of achieving uniformly workable technology. The only thing now is getting the technology applied." So those are the first two. So that's the beginning. We've got the tech.
And a little bit farther down, he says, "Therefore, the road before Scientology is clear, and its ultimate success is assured if the technology is applied."
Excellent. Yeah.
That's Hubbard.
So, now, and the sort of core of this policy letter is what is known as the 10 points of keeping Scientology working. These are the 10 things that you got to remember if you're a Scientologist, especially if you're a staff member, but if you're even any kind of a Scientologist, you got to remember these 10 points of keeping Scientology working. And a lot of effort is put into making sure that you do remember these 10 points, and we'll talk about that a little later. But let me tell you what these 10 points are.
The first 5.
I'll do the first 5, and then Tori can do the next 5. Okay. Getting the correct technology applied consists of 1, having the correct technology. That makes sense. Knowing the technology. Well, if you have it, you'd have to know it. 3, knowing it is correct. And then point number 4, teaching correctly the correct technology. And point number 5 is applying the technology.
And one thing, before I get into 6, one thing I want to add about knowing the technology and knowing it is correct is where Hubbard's study technology comes in there. Because he's really big on if you can't understand it, you have misunderstood words, blah, blah, blah. So he has his own way of making sure that you understand it, right? So 6 is seeing that the technology is correctly applied. Again, has to do with watching people, making sure they're using the technology correctly. 7 is hammering out of existence incorrect technology. 8 is knocking out incorrect applications. And 9 is closing the door on any possibility of incorrect technology. And 10 is closing the door on incorrect applications. One of the key ways to do this is what he came up with, which were knowledge reports, where a person is expected in the Church of Scientology to write up a knowledge report with the time, place, form, and event of when they did this tech and how they misapplied it, right? And they have to attest it's true and sign their names and turn it into ethics, which nothing could be farther from Scientology ethics, really. But anyway, go on. You're on me.
Oh, I'm on. Okay. So those are the points 6 through 10. And just a couple points on those. Point 7 is hammering out of existence incorrect technology. That sounds a little violent, don't you think? Well, the only correct technology in the view of L. Ron Hubbard and Scientology religious fanatics and Scientology is Scientology technology, right? Now, Scientology technology is a huge number of psychotherapeutic processes that have to be done exactly as L. Ron Hubbard said in the bulletins that cover those. So, incorrect technology would be psychology, any of the different versions of psychology that aren't Scientology. Psychiatry is incorrect technology. Antidepressants would certainly be incorrect technology and other medications. So it's saying, really, and this is true in practice in Scientology, we have to knock out incorrect technology in the field of mental health, you see, or in the field of mental spiritual practices and processing.
Yeah, they know more than anybody.
Yeah, and nobody can do that but Scientology, and they are all devils, and they have to be knocked out. See?
Which is how you can see Tom Cruise saying they're the only people that can stop at an accident and help people.
Right.
I mean, how bodacious is that?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So that's the attitude, or part of the attitude, that's put forward in this policy letter and enforced in Scientology.
And here's a quote that he has: whenever the control as for 7, 8, 9, and 10 has been relaxed, the whole organizational area has failed. So he really, really believes in this. And down farther he says,
let me just make one comment on that. So Scientology has failed as a result of not knocking out incorrect technology and incorrect applications and blah, blah, blah. Scientology has not failed because the tech doesn't work, you see. The reason Scientology failed is because of you stupid staff members failing to apply it correctly. Point 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, you see. So there's a shift in responsibility that's kind of subtle, but really when you think of it, not so subtle, you see. I have invented the perfect technology. It is perfect. It works. And if there are failures, it's not my fault. It's your fault, you see. So that's another key message in here. Go ahead.
And the other thing is that David Miscavige, if you look at Keeping Scientology Working, he has actually changed the tech. The basics, as much as people can say, well, they're just, someone screwed up. No. L. Ron Hubbard said nothing, not a dot can be changed in his technology. So per this Keeping Scientology Working, David Miscavige is a squirrel. He is someone misusing and not applying the tech and thus totally screwing it up. And L. Ron Hubbard says, when you don't do 7, 8, 9, and 10, which is what Miscavige and the members of the Church of Scientology who are not enforcing it on him, actively you are working for a bank-dominated mob. Okay.
Yeah. those are strong words.
That's L. Ron
But
Hubbard.
let me make another point. In connection with that, see, it says point number 8 is knocking out incorrect applications. Well, let's think for a moment. If you have this whole magical technology that was invented by this, godlike science fiction writer, and it works well, and it doesn't really work very well when you try to make it work. Like you do these processes on people, and maybe they feel a little better for 10 minutes, and then nothing has happened. What you might want to do is you might want to modify what Hubbard said. See, so that maybe I can get this to actually work if I change it like this, or change it like that. See?
High crime.
Well, you can't do that, really, in Scientology. That is defined as a high crime by L. Ron Hubbard. A high crime in Scientology means about what you would think it means, a very, very bad thing. So if you commit a
worse than you think.
If you commit a high crime in Scientology, that is altering the technology, well, that probably means that you're going to be declared a suppressive person. See, because
no one is allowed to talk to you.
Yeah, altering the technology. Thank you. There you go. So Tori's a famous suppressive. But altering the technology implies that you have criticisms of the technology, otherwise you wouldn't alter it. So if you criticize the technology, then you are obviously a suppressive person because you're hostile to Scientology. And if you're hostile to Scientology, then it follows naturally in the logic of L. Ron Hubbard and Scientology fanatics that you are a generally evil person. So you oppose all human betterment. So if you oppose Scientology, it follows that you oppose all genuine efforts to better humanity. Like, you would naturally oppose plumbing, if you're a suppressive person, or going for walks.
All right,
but
I want to say something because I am a declared suppressive person, and truthfully, and you can watch my 500 videos, and the majority of them, I'm speaking about the abuses of the Church of Scientology, which are the same abuses any cult has and any abusive relationship has. They're breaking up of families, stopping free speech, manipulation of people, and fraud. They have fair game, where Hubbard said you can lie, cheat, steal, destroy someone utterly. Their medical abuse, and the last one is they rope in young people to their billion-year contract, won't let them out, and then when they do get out, they charge them thousands and thousands of dollars for nothing that they actually got. It's awful, and that's mainly what I speak out against. But they say that's suppressive. If you're in the church and you go for those things, you think about that, because they're not okay. I talk to parents every day who cannot talk to their children because they're in Scientology. How awful is that? It's awful. It really is. And I'm going to say one last thing, is that Hubbard says when somebody enrolls, consider he or she has joined up for the duration of the universe. Never permit an open-minded approach. If they're going to quit, let them quit fast. If they're enrolled, they're aboard, and if they're aboard, they're here on the same terms as the rest of us, win or die in the attempt. So that's why you see Tom Cruise looking like such a fanatic, saying you're either in or out. It's based on keeping Scientology working, this policy.
Yeah, he's bought into this. Let me just say on SPs, we kind of joke about it, but actually declaring somebody a suppressive person when in fact all the person is doing is criticizing Scientology,
and their abuse,
is a profoundly evil thing to do.
Right.
See, it is like declaring somebody a witch, you see, or declaring somebody the cause of all of our problems, and that's what Scientology does. See, it declares people suppressive. Tori isn't suppressive. I'm not suppressive, and most of the people declared suppressive, I find, are not suppressive at all.
No, it's amazing to meet them. They're really nice.
And I just want to make, not to bore anybody, but doing that is just an amazingly evil thing. See, declaring somebody suppressive because they disagree with you or are critical of you is an evil thing to do. That's all I have to say on that.
I agree. So thank you. I think we should end off here.
Really?
Did you have something
What's
else?
our time? Oh, just real quickly, if I can. How are we on time?
We're done.
We're done?
We're at that point where,
just 30 seconds, though. So this is drummed into people's heads in Scientology, just so you understand this. Like we said, it's the first thing you read. You actually get checked out on it, to make sure that you've got it, right? Not only that, but if you are on staff, whether Sea Org or not, you actually have to chant, I said, the 10 points of keeping Scientology working frequently, often. See, and how that works is somebody stands up in front of the board, and the list of the 10 points of keeping Scientology working are up there, and the person points to the first one, and he says, having the technology, and there's a group of staff in front of you, and they repeat back to you, having the technology, and you go through all of the 10 points in a chant, a call and response sort of a way, and then you just point to it, and the staff members all have to chant these 10 points. And you do this, you do it often, a couple times a week. It's a standard thing in Scientology to chant things. And
they don't call it chanting for Scientologists that are in. They don't call it chanting, but it is what they're doing.
Yeah,
He's right.
It is chanting, and the most popular chant in Scientology is the 10 points of keeping Scientology working. I think that's about it.
There was one other thing. You had a shocking truth that you said you were going to
tell us. God, yeah. Here's the shocking truth. You reminded me of this as you were talking. No, I don't want to be in the picture, because the fact of the matter is, and the shocking truth, and this is a confession, I used to be the qualsec at Celebrity Center, and one of the things I had to do was I had to lead chants in the 10 points of keeping Scientology working. And I actually did that, so...
You're forgiven.
Thank you. Shocking.
All right, so there you go. There's the shocking truth of keeping Scientology working. For anybody in, come on out. We're having a great time. For the people that are helping expose it, thank you so much. It really makes a difference. People are leaving every single day. There you go. Peace out. Take care.